Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. It's another beautiful, beautiful Sunday. We just have hours to the end of the first month. Of course, that's my birth month, January, and it's the end of the January transfer window, and many of you are quite excited about what could actually Arsenal do on the deadline day. Remember, the last transfer window we were in, we signed Thomas Partey. That was a big fish really pulled off on deadline day. But can we pull off another big fish on deadline day? It's a big question. I don't know whether Arsenal will be looking at signing any other player on this deadline day, but there are a couple of stories flying around. I'm going to be looking at them. A couple of loan deals for players that are leaving and a couple of players that could actually come in. Patrick Van Aanholt, of course, that means that Arsenal want to fill in that left back option that is really, really, really scary when we are using Cedric. You have players like Joan Jordan, you have players like Tariq Mitchell. There's so many players linked with Arsenal right today, and today is the last day. We have just hours to the closure of the January transfer window. Do not ask me of any done deals right now because they're not there, unless you want me to tell you Martin Odegaard and Matt Ryan, which I already told you about. I think we did so many videos about those players, so there isn't anything you should be asking about Odegaard and Matt Ryan. Maybe I'll drop a video about how actually Martin Odegaard would play with Emile Smith Rowe, because it looks very, very possible. I was looking at how we played yesterday in that nil-all draw. Against Manchester United, and I thought if Emile Smith Rowe can actually occupy the wider areas and Martin Odegaard occupies the number 10, which is a little bit unfair because Emile Smith Rowe has already said he wants to play in that number 10 position. But of course, if the manager can draw a consensus between the two players, then you think one of them will actually be able to play with the other. But I'm here for the transfer update. A couple of stories on my desk. I don't know whether this is because I've not been working on transfers or because it's deadline day. Either way, we'll be moving at a very terrific speed to see that we can actually complete all these stories within just 10 or 12 minutes of my time. And I'll start with Reiss Nelson to the championship. Today, it's another big story that has been written that Reiss Nelson could actually complete his move by Monday to the championship to get more playing time. He's a very wonderful player, I've told you before, and I still believe in him. He's a very good player, but my problem with him is that his end product is absolutely dazzling. He doesn't have an end product. He's not like a Mason Greenwood. He's not like a Bukayo Saka. When he has the ball, you feel like that talented player on the pitch has the ball, but the end result, he's not going to bring in a perfect cross at the end of the day. He's not going to bring in that ball that you think is that you think just need a boot at the end of it to get to the back of the net. I think that has been his problem. If he can go out there, whichever club he's going to, he's been linked with Norwich City, he's been linked with Brentford. Whichever club he goes to, he has to work on that. Because right now you have Gabriel Martinelli, you have Bukayo Saka, you have Martin Odegaard. You could see the competition. You need to be productive. You need to make yourself useful if you're going to play at Arsenal right now. I don't mean we have a lot of quality, but even the little quality that we have, look at Pepe. The last two games he's been a little bit brilliant. If he keeps that pace and he comes back, Gabriel Martinelli is going to be on the bench. That means that Reiss Nelson has nowhere to play. So he needs to get game time, but he needs to work on the on the output. You just can't be and Iwobi, because that was the problem with Iwobi. Iwobi was a very good player when he had the ball, scattering around, jumping around, but at the end, what are your statistics? What do you offer the club? Why should we celebrate that you have started in our first lineup? Or why should we celebrate that you're on the touchline waiting to come on the pitch? Why? And I think that's why Alexander Iwobi had to leave the club, because for me, he was not offering us anything. That's the fact. He was, the dribbles do not score goals. Yeah, you could have 10, 15, successful dribbles per game, but they don't win They don't win games. Dribbles don't win games. assists and goals winning games. So Reece Nelson could be out on loan to the Championship by tomorrow. Jose Willock is the other player that Newcastle is requesting for to take out on loan, and I think the truth is, for Reece Nelson, I would want to see him at Arsenal probably next season. But for Joe Willock, I don't think he's going to play football at Arsenal. Consider him another Tom Cleverley. They're not another Jesse Lingard. They're not Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea players. They are not born to compete at that level. They're West Ham United players, they're Newcastle players. They play. He will play very good football without pressure at Newcastle. But at Arsenal, he's never going to play football. I want us to be very, very honest. And I know most of you are gonna tell me because he had a very good campaign in the Europa League. Yeah, I understand. He scored a couple of goals. He had a couple of assists. He played a little bit deeper in that number 8 position where I've always felt like he's more comfortable. But I've never felt like Joe Willock is another big thing that Arsenal have. Ever since I saw him under Arsene Wenger, I've never believed in him as a young player. I've never seen him like a Gabriel Martinelli. I've never seen him like a Florian Balogun. But anyway, Newcastle want him on loan. I would let him go, and if they want to buy him in the summer, I would sell him still. Martin announced to West Bromwich Albion is the other deal that could also be done today. Atletico Madrid wanted Martin Annals, and I don't know why Arsenal turned a deaf ear to that deal. Okay. For the good of the player, I think he should go out on loan. I thought when a player like Kian gets injured, he is a little bit versatile to play in such areas. But it looks like Mikel Arteta is not actually pleased with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and he chooses to play Cedric out of position. However much I'm not really contented that Cedric is giving us the best out, the best of the best in the left back. I don't think he's offering more than what Ainsley would offer if he was played in the left back. Because for me, I told you, he's a little bit more versatile, and of course he could actually play, starting from the midfield. That is how good he is, and that is how much I love him. But going out to West Bromwich Albion, under Sam Allardyce, they're one of the best defensive sides, courtesy of having one of the best defensive managers in Sam Allardyce. So, do you understand what I'm talking about? I think if you let him go out there, the problem is if Cedric gets injured and Kian is out, what are your options? That's the problem. That's the first thing we have to look at. But again, I think he needs game time. He's a good player. Euros are coming on. He needs to compete for the England spot, and he cannot compete for the England spot when he's sitting on the bench. He needs to go out there, get some playing, get some playing time. Make himself busy, and of course, lighten up his career. Last season, and this is what baffles me. Last season he was one of our best players. Believe me, he was one of our best players. Everybody thought Martin Annals is going to be the next big thing at Arsenal. He was a non-negotiable. He was a starter. Everybody believed he was going to start every game for Arsenal. And boom, all of a sudden, he can't start. All of a sudden, he's not sitting on the bench. All of a sudden, he's no more. And I think it's a little bit unfair for him. I think he needs to get some game time. West Bromwich Albion, will it be a very good deal? I don't think. But anyway, I think he will get game time there, and that's what he needs right now. Then let us look at players that could actually join Arsenal on transfer. Before that, Shkodran Mustafi wants to go to Liverpool, and Liverpool are looking at Shkodran Mustafi now. This is a little bit crazy. Mustafi has around 5 months, because we have finished the first month of the year. So he has 5 months left on his contract at Arsenal. He'll be a free agent in the summer. He has already made it clear that he's not going to stay at Arsenal. He wants to move on as a free agent in the summer. Or if he gets a deal done right now, then he could actually move from Arsenal. And Arsenal have been in negotiations with him to cancel his contract, just like we did with Shkodran Mustafi, with Socrates Papastopoulos and Messi Ozil. Liverpool have defensive issues. I talked about this on Kosi's Cup of Coffee, and I said the problems of Liverpool are as simple as this: go out there, sign a defensive player, and get a striker. Those are the two problems Liverpool have. They just can't score goals, and they're leaking goals. If they can work on those two things, they are good to go. And I think it was a mistake that they didn't sign Werner and they didn't get Upamecano in the summer. I think they thought Virgil van Dijk is still has two more seasons, very strong, and I think with Joe Gomez, it's such a strong partnership. But they're unlucky. It really doesn't. It rarely happens that you have both your centre backs get injured on long-term injuries, and that's a little bit of being unlucky. But now they want Shkodran Mustafi, and I think now they're in a mix because Joe Matip is injured. Yeah, Joe Matip is now injured. Virgil van Dijk is injured, and Joe Gomez is injured. So they have 3 of their centre backs injured. Now they have a young player, Phillips, and they have Fabinho. And of course, Fabinho is not a full back. He's not a centre back, but he's playing so well as a centre back. So no disrespect for him. But I think what Liverpool should do, if you want to get Shkodran Mustafi, then you sign him on a 1 year on a 1 year deal, because I don't think he matches the quality of Liverpool. Liverpool are competing at the highest level of football in the Premier League. They are in England. They are competing at the highest level of football in Europe. They won the Champions League. They have won the Champions League less than 2 years ago. They have won the Premier League less than 2 years ago. They are holders of the title. So bringing in a player like Shkodran Mustafi with his quality, well, I wouldn't agree with that. But the fact that they do not have the money right now, and Arsenal could actually cancel Shkodran Mustafi's contract so that he goes to Liverpool without Liverpool paying a penny, so that they can actually all they need to do is negotiate his wages. I think that would be a better deal for Liverpool to do, but I do not actually think he's going to be a super signing if he goes to Liverpool. Arsenal have been linked with 2 brilliant players today, this early morning. First and foremost is Patrick Van Aanholt from look, I think we need a left back. We need a backup left back. I saw Kian training, but he wasn't past fit for the game against Manchester United. That almost cost us points. Telling you, that almost cost us 3 points. But I think it also depends on who we bring in. Yeah, it also depends who we are going to bring in. Bringing in Patrick Van Aanholt from Crystal Palace doesn't sit well with me. I don't think he is that player that, I don't want us to clear Deadwood and add Deadwood. Sid Kolasinac, then you bring in Patrick Van Aanholt. I don't agree. I think as Kian is 21 years of age, we've got to bring in a backup left back who is 19 years of age. You could see that if Kian, you groom him in the shadow picture of Kian, that if Tierney gets injured, if Tierney is out, you're gonna bring him in. Yeah, you understand? You get me? You're gonna bring him in to actually give you almost what Kian Tierney gives you. Now Patrick Van Aanholt, with his 30 years of age, I do not agree with that deal. I just do not agree. Again, we've been linked with Joan Jordan for £35 million. A deal that I don't think is going to happen this January transfer window. Fabrizio Romano, Beleg, whoever you want to believe in, whoever you choose to believe in, they have already told us that Arsenal do not have that money to spend in the January transfer window. And of course, I told you we got almost 100 £1 million of from loan from the UK loan from the UK government to help us run the daily the daily activities at the club. So you could see that if we do not have the money to run the daily activities of the club, then we cannot have money to spend in transfers. And you've seen most of our transfers we have done, they are loan deals, which I think they are decent. Getting Odegaard on loan deal is decent. Getting Matt Ryan on a loan deal to back up Ban Leno is decent. If you can get in a good left back on loan, it's decent. I don't take Patrick Van Aanholt, but I'll take Ryan Bertrand. But Joan Jordan is a good player. He's a very good link-up player, and I think he's the kind of player that Thomas Partey would love to play with, because Partey needs talented players. He needs to play in that midfield with players who understand what football is. Now, I do not understand, or I do not think that Mohamed El Neni knows and understands what football is. He plays football for money. Yeah. just running around, walking around, as if he's in a he's in an extension of a gym. You know, Granit Xhaka seems like he knows the art of football, but I think his quality as a player is just not there. Yeah, and it's not going to be there because he's already old. But anyway, that is it. Juan Jordan, Patrick Van Aanholt, but much of the transfer deadline day is looking at Arsenal letting some players go. And like I always say, I'm going to keep you updated throughout the day to see who we bring in, who are we interested in, which deal is close, which deal is far, and can we pull off a deal. That game against Manchester United, I've done 2 more videos about it. I did the match reaction, which you guys have watched, and I've also done the player ratings, which you haven't watched as much. But I think you should check them out. You should check out, especially the video with the player ratings has a problem. It was a little bit glitchy, but the match reaction, watch the match reaction. I think its quality is okay, and I think that is where I speak much of what happened. In the player ratings, I was really looking at player per player, and I think you guys saw the players, but you look at the match reaction and see what that game actually meant for Manchester United and what it meant for us and what we have to do to win the next one. Smash a like on this video, and I'll speak to you in the next one.